Get the Friendo Club set up today and get access to over 700 Going in Raw bonus episodes, our monthly Big Blue predictions challenges, and the ability to ask questions at Going in Raw. We also offer the Steven Larson comic book and exclusive Friendo Club t-shirt. Just hit join here at youtube.com/Steven Larson or go to patreon.com/Steven Larson to sign up. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
Yeah, Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we've got your breakdown of NXT.
Say, break it down.
Break it down. Also, AEW Dynamite. We're going to do that one too. And we've got some news about Wrestlemania. We are on the road. Everybody point to the sign. Wherever it might be in your house, whatever sign you want to point to. What sign are you pointing at? Oh, there you go. Speaking of, here, people can't see that because it's out of frame. I think you're pointing to your big blue hat, though. There we go. Brother, listen to this. Life moves on. The new hat has arrived for the February Predictions Challenge. Whoa! Right there, baby. Look at that. Whether you think it's like a Run DMC ripoff or what it actually is, the Royal Rumble logo
Royal
ripoff.
Rumble. That looks sharp. Looks sharp.
It's sharp stuff. Very clean looking right here. So I'll put it over here next to my Pop-Tarts.
What kind of Pop-Tarts do you got?
Blueberry, man.
Well, they're fine. They probably rank third on my power rankings.
I don't care about your Pop-Tart power. Mine is blueberry number one.
It's cinnamon brown sugar. One.
Cinnamon brown sugar.
And then the strawberry ones too.
I've never had the cinnamon brown sugar ones.
You know what's really good? This is going to sound crazy to you. Instead of putting the Pop-Tarts in the toaster, put them in the microwave.
Oh, I thought you were going to say air fryer because you're Mr. Air Fryer.
I have never put a Pop-Tart in air fryer. I don't eat Pop-Tarts anymore, but I used to put them in the microwave.
Anyways, if you want more Pop-Tart recipes, hit up and Larson on. Are you on Blue Sky yet or no, brother?
No comment.
All right. Find him on through pigeon service.
If I'm on Blue Sky, it's just for me to read the news and that's it.
You're like one of your tabs is just pornography. News and pornography for Larson. Don't disturb his Blue Sky time, everybody. Anyways, so like I said on today's episode, eventually we're going to get to the news. Let's talk about this first, man.
NBA trade deadline. Let's talk about it.
No, we don't have an NBA podcast as of yet. We will talk about, however, Wrestlemania because I don't even have the notes up.
All right, I do.
Apparently, there's a big triple threat coming up, Larson.
Yeah, we're still trying to ascertain how all the pieces are going to fit together for Mania. With Jay winning the Rumble, probably taking on Gunther. We got Elimination Chamber coming up. We're going to have 6 contenders for Cody's title in that match.
Hold on, wait. We got to bring this up real quick.
What?
We got to bring this up real quick.
What? KD didn't want to go back to the Warriors. That's weird, isn't it?
He didn't want to go back to the Warriors. No, I saw that last night. That's not weird. I wouldn't want to go back there either with Draymond on the team. Listen. A couple weeks ago, we did a video over at the Friendo Club Wrestling channel where we talked about predicting the WrestleMania cards with or without The Rock. I took on one with the Final Boss, and you did the one without the Final Boss. So on Twitter, because I still peruse Twitter from time to time on my burner account.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, I did a little bit of, I don't do this very often, but I did
vanity searching.
Yeah. And somebody posted up a screenshot of the video that you predicted the WrestleMania matches. And in that video, you predicted that Jey Uso versus Gunther would be for the World Heavyweight Championship. And somebody posted on the screenshot of that with a big question mark and was like, oh, that's the only thing they posted. And then the replies, of course, half of which, I'll be honest with you, are people saying things like, we're not going to try to put our unks on blast now, are we? Defending us, calling us unks, old men, which we are.
Yeah.
Been around way too long, Larson.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the people saying, some people, that's where I got the Steven Larson fell out thing from.
Yeah.
But you got it right.
Didn't I also say it's be Cody and Cena? So if that hits too,
Ooh.
I'm doing a victory lap. I'm gonna go back on Twitter for one day.
Yes.
For a victory lap, and then deactivate again.
Yes. I think, don't we still have the old Steven Larson Twitter account on there? I think, because I don't know how to get into that one.
I don't either. So I guess
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. And I'm going to do whatever people do. I'll probably forget about it within 10 minutes, but I thought that was very interesting.
I completely forgot I put that in that video that Jay was going to win the Rumble and face Gunther.
You actually had Jay winning the... We got to go back and react to that shit, man.
Chat said.
Look at you. Show off that hat again, Larson. That's why you are the Big Blue Predictions champion right now, man. Third biggest field of all time, and this dude won. No, that was this one. The last one probably was not the third biggest field of all time, but you
won
still
anyway,
won.
So I still
won. Anyways.
In the month prior, I was very close to winning too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude.
Almost won the G1 again this year.
That's the most impressive thing. There should actually be a much bigger prize for winning the G1. Because that's hard. Anyways, I'm sorry.
Anyways, let's talk about WrestleMania. I have a feeling this particular episode is going to kind of be all over the place.
Pretty sure I got influenza, so I'm going to be having a fun day.
Let's get back to this news story. So, of course, given how Rollins and Reigns were eliminated by Punk at the Rumble this past weekend, and the aftermath, which saw Rollins hit Reigns with a couple stomps, one on the floor, one on the ring steps, speculation started shortly after the Rumble about how that sequence of events would potentially play into the Mania matches for them all. Now, according to PW Insider, that spot was in fact included in the Rumble to set up a triple threat between Rollins, Reigns, and Punk at WrestleMania. So the question, do you want that triple threat, or would you prefer singles matches, whether it be Punk, Reigns, or Rollins, Reigns, or another Punk, Rollins?
Okay, so...
And would the triple threat have a chance to main event night one?
So there's two things. Number one, conversely, and this is why whenever you bring up me finishing my prediction story, I laugh it off. I did a whole last video on WrestleJuice. It's literally like the channel trailer spot right now. It's a feature video where I say one of these things is going to main event WrestleMania. And I offer up like 10 options.
And none of them are this.
None of them are this.
Did you do that before or after the Rumble?
But, way before.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, you didn't.
You know me. I like doing really early stuff.
Yeah. Count out this week is us trying to predict who's going to win next year's Rumble. It's a little teaser for you. So
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So if I was presented this as an option, it would not be like top 5.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, number one, triple threats have the potential to be fucking awesome.
Oh, fun matches. Absolutely.
Number two, as long as they can, and I know this is the lazy answer, as long as they can craft something that's really compelling between Punk, Seth, Heyman, and Roman, I think that this could be phenomenal. I really do. I prefer the one-on-one situations because then you get the promo. But if they doll this up with the big Las Vegas showdown thing like they did last year, if they throw in just tons of great promos, maybe some twists and turns involving the favor. We got a taste of this on Raw, and this was one of my favorite segments. Seth Rollins coming out being as petty as possible, running down CM Punk, asking Sami Zayn to come out so he can pep talk him into beating Punk to deny him his WrestleMania dream, and then Punk coming out and being like, what? Why? Why would you say that? And then them getting into it. I think if they similar to how by the end of it, that go home to WrestleMania 35 with Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky had that wildly fun, bit with the cops and everything. If they can find a way to channel that type of chaos and energy with what they got with these three guys and the history there, Punk, the Shield debuted as mercenaries for Punk. I think there's a lot of cool shit that they can do with it. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but if they do really cool stuff, I'm down.
Should that match main event night one, though? Over, say, Jay Gunther, over if it's Rhea Bianca, even if it's Rhea Charlotte.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Let me put it this way. It has the potential to be the best story. Yeah, I honestly, man, it has the potential to take the Roman Undertaker 33 spot. The above title night 2 main event.
Oh, it ain't main event at night 2. No.
I'm just saying.
That's Cody.
I think the intrigue will be there. I think Cena's not going to be around, so they're going to have Cody Rhodes doing promos against, a John Cena T-shirt, the video promos. I don't think because Cena's not going to be around that much.
I think that might be pretty interesting if Cody brings like a mannequin with a John Cena T-shirt on it and just drops a promo on the mannequin. That could be actually pretty interesting.
The mannequin is going to give Cody cry face because Cody always has cry face.
I agree this would not be my first choice. I feel like it feels like they wanted to have a singles match between 2 of the 3 of these competitors, some, combination or iteration. Couldn't decide what to do and just said, all right, we'll just put them all 3 in the ring at WrestleMania. It's probably going to be another sorry Seth situation.
You think he's going to need the pin?
Probably.
Man. Can he just get this win? Larson, can he just get this win? Come on. The predictions king. I'm begging you. Can you please just tell me he can get this win?
This isn't me trying to throw shade at Seth. I like Seth a lot. I'd love him to get the win in this match. I'm just looking at it from how Triple H books stuff. And it feels like a sorry Seth situation. Now, if they had done Punk Reigns and Rollins, who knows what he's doing at WrestleMania? Don't know. I understand. He's a high-profile competitor. You want him in a high-profile match.
Who gets the win here?
Oh, Punk pins Rollins.
Ooh. Punk pins Rollins.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, wait a second. So you're rolling out a stack situation?
No, I said Punk pinned Rollins. Reigns hits Rollins with the spear. Punk hits Reigns with the GTS, then another GTS for Seth, and Punk pins Rollins.
Punk's popularity right now, especially because the build to this, man, Roman might end up fading to the back like he sometimes does. Heyman's going to do the heavy lifting on the promos.
Yeah, I mean, half the time, Reigns ain't even going to be there anyway, so.
Yeah, that's another thing. Roman doesn't stack these 2 fools. No. Punk doesn't stack the Shield. Oh, Punk should stack the Shield, Larson.
No, he shouldn't.
He's the most popular guy they got.
No, you keep on saying this week that Jey Uso's most popular.
He is the most popular guy they got. So is CM Punk.
No, there's going to be no stacking in this match.
Wow. Come on, man.
If they propose that to Roman, he's like, that doesn't work for me. No, he ain't doing that.
Yeah, what did he say on the O'Shea Jackson podcast thing? What's that thing called? Roman was on there, and he said, I woke up, so everybody shit in their pants or something like that. He was on there talking shit.
Oh, he was talking about, he said something about if you want to elevate that World Heavyweight Championship, you know whose waist to put it around. Saw that quote.
No lies told there.
I don't know if it was from that appearance, but I saw that quote today.
When are we going to get Roman Reigns on our show, man?
I don't know. How good of a Roman impression do you have?
I want to get that Roman AI voice thing.
Oh, yeah.
Give my stars, Oos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you know why? Because we're number 14 in the podcast rankings, and Ice Cube Jr. is at number 5 right now. Dang, it's because they get the guess. It's a catch-22.
They do get the guess.
Then I wake up and I see everybody, bro, it's been 8 years. Can we get out of the dog? I know I messed up at the 2K. Oh, no, it was 2019. So it's been 6 years. I know I messed up at the press event. Can we just get our hands on some early gameplay? Come on. I want to make what we used to call our guy when we create a wrestler at the thing.
Oh, it changed. Like one time it was Power Lunch.
And then it was Son of Power Lunch.
Yeah.
I woke up. Everybody's got the 2K footage. So it's that time of the year when Steve gets salty over not getting... Where's the email? Who do I have to email? I'm about to fire off some emails, man.
I don't know. Like anybody that we used to have contact information with or for over there, I don't know if they're still there.
I think they're all gone. There was a former Machinima guy there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then coincidentally, when he showed up, we got kicked out. I think he didn't like us. Yeah, that's why you got to make friends in the industry, man. You can't be burning bridges. It's all about networking, you know.
I don't know why you're directing that towards me.
No, I'm just saying it's good advice for everybody.
No. I don't think I've burned any bridges in the industry.
No, it's probably just me, man. But yeah, I just want to pay for the game.
I send some
I want
emails.
the game, I don't want to pay
offer
for
some
it.
apologies. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I just need an email. Email somebody. Can we get extra key? Come on, man. Sorry.
You want to go to the press events again?
The dude that the shoulder lean, that dude's in AEW now anyways.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Yeah, man. Anyways. So what were we talking about?
We were talking about WrestleMania, Punk, Rollins, Reigns.
All right, so let's talk about how this lines up. Well, if
this is the case, it seems
card.
pretty clear that Cena's going to win at Chamber and face Cody, which I think we kind of knew that all along. But given the interactions that Punk had with Cody and Kevin Owens prior to the Rumble, at least put the thought in your head. Maybe they'll do Rollins Reigns at Mania and then have Punk face Cody, and Cena could come short at Chamber, and that's another obstacle in his way to number 17 or an opportunity at number 17.
Yeah.
Makes a certain amount of sense.
Yeah, Cody Cena, that's what, ever since I remember Fightful not long ago said that, they wanted that match. They've wanted that match for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's true, and I trust Fightful, I think Sean does really good work there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, yeah, Cena Cody makes all the sense in the world.
Yep.
Cena winning the Chamber, especially a tough match like the Chamber. It's easy to luck into winning the Rumble. Jay just sort of shoved Cena after Cena tried an ill-advised AA on the apron. But you win the Chamber, man, that ain't easy.
Yeah.
So him, I mean, there's a little bit of adversity for you. You get to WrestleMania, and who knows what happens there. So that lines up. I don't know. In terms of the main event situation, man, I don't know. You're probably right. Cody Cena, night 2. Do you think that triple threat is night 1 or is Jay Gunther?
I'm going to give the edge to Jay Gunther right now.
Same, yeah.
It's a title match. I could see them wanting that moment at the end of one night of WrestleMania, the entire audience after Jay wins, everybody yeeting.
Yeet.
That's footage they can use for video packages for decades.
Yeah.
When you have 70,000 people in the arena doing that after Jay wins, I think they want that to close the show with that image. At least on night 1, so I'd give Jay and Gunther the edge right now.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the fact he's got a shirt that says main event WrestleMania on it. Mm-hmm. You got a main event then.
It's weird because if it was a singles match, whether Reigns Rollins or Reigns Punk, I'd think it has a better shot at main eventing night 1 than the triple threat does.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Even though triple threat, more star power, obviously. Mm-hmm. You could probably tell a potentially more intricate story there. But for some reason, for me, it just feels like the singles match would have a better chance at main eventing night 1 as opposed to the triple threat.
I mean, obviously, if there was a title on the line, that would probably change
then that's
it.
different. That's a different scenario. Yeah,
but I feel you in that. I feel you in that situation. Yeah. Anyways, before we continue on, Larson, I think it's about that time that we should go ahead and pay some bills. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's take a quick break here. Get a word from our sponsor, DraftKings Pick 6. Super Bowl 59 is nearly here, Steve, which means the NFL season is almost over, but it also means this is your last chance to play NFL Pick 6 this season. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else.
That is correct, Larson, and it's super easy to get started with Pick 6. All you got to do is select 2 or more players and choose if they'll have more or less of a particular stat, like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, and more. And DraftKings is now making it even sweeter for first-time players. New Pick 6 customers play $5, get $59 in Pick 6 credits.
So win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app and use code RAW. That's code RAW for new customers to play $5 and get $59 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
All right, let's go ahead and throw to the disclaimers here for DraftKings Pick 6. Take it away, Bill, Pick 6.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, and we've got one more sponsor for the show today.
And this episode of Going in Raw is sponsored by BetterHelp. You know, Steve, we often hear about red flags that we should avoid in our relationships, and it's obviously important to be on the lookout for them, whether you're dating, married, building a new friendship, or just working on yourself.
That's right, Larson, but it's also important to appreciate the green flags in the positive relationships in your life. And if you're having trouble identifying them, therapy can help you actively find these green flags in your relationships. And if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try.
You know, I've spoken pretty extensively about how therapy helped me when I was dealing with severe anxiety in my mid-20s. That was 20 years ago. And 20 years ago, going to therapy involved getting in the car and driving to your therapist's office, but BetterHelp is completely online, making therapy convenient and affordable. With BetterHelp, you have access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties, and you can easily switch therapists at any time for no extra cost.
So discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/raw today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw. All right, man. Would you like to talk about the AEW, Larson?
Sure. You know, it's
Wait,
interesting.
they were in Atlanta. What was the venue there at? Do you know how many
I don't know
tickets were
what
sold?
the venue was. I don't know the capacity, but it looked cool.
It looked great, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a cool looking place. You know, based on, so it looked like they take a mid-size arena, and even though they have the pillars there, it looked like didn't have an upper deck.
Right, yeah.
So it was just lower bowl.
Yeah.
But, you know, when they go with a hard cam, it just looks like a decent sized arena. It wasn't until they go the wider shots that, you know, look up that you notice, oh, there's no second deck here. But it looked great on TV, had some character. I don't know, I'd guess 2,000-3,000 capacity.
You are, you're close to it. It's, about 2,400. So in between that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with no upper deck, you know, you just keep the camera low, and it looks great. You know, It looked really. That's the kind of venue that I think looks really, really great for AEW, given their current situation with the attendance woes and all that. But you know, man, I think last week,
I mean,
it looks.
They
full,
filled the
exactly.
building. It looked like the crowd was awesome.
Yeah. Last week we talked about how AEW has some things that are really good that they don't focus on as much as they should, and oftentimes they don't maybe move stories along the way they probably should. I thought this week they quickly got done with the Death Rider stuff and then focused on a lot of stuff that I thought was really, really good. You know, when you put Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin out there and MVP, put the Hurt Syndicate out there with the promo against the Returning Guns, that's pretty fun stuff. When you have the main event, Swerve and Ricochet.
Tons of fun.
Tons of fun, really compelling finish there. Ricochet is doing terrific work right now, and Swerve is always great. But again, the finish to that match adds more intrigue to what's going on. A couple more wrinkles there. Highlight for me clearly was Toni Storm. That was outstanding business right there. She performed, and it's funny that they haven't done more of this given her gimmick, but this could be a new thing she does. But she came out and performed her match against Queen Aminata as Mariah May and did a terrific job of it, down to the promo afterwards. And Mariah May was great on commentary as well with all of her reactions to it. I thought that was a stellar segment and match. And the match itself was really good because Queen Aminata is really good, and obviously Tony's really good. Yeah. So there was a lot to like about Dynamite. I don't think anything particularly dragged, maybe with the exception of the MJF stuff. But again, even with that being interrupted by Max Caster, who I've been enjoying lately, I think that they found that thing for him that really works with him as a performer. Interrupting it, trying to hide from Hangman and MJF's bit. The Dustin stuff was a little long, but Dustin's good at that stuff anyways. It's still a weird, wonky role for MJF to have.
It really
like
is.
Fighting Legends is weird. But by and large, I thought that the stuff that they have that's good, they focused on this week. And I thought Dynamite was a lot of fun. I thought Dynamite and NXT both, and Raw, all killer shows. Hopefully SmackDown can give us the last bit of killer wrestling this week.
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, they got the Death Rider stuff out of the way at the beginning. Didn't overstay its welcome. It was a bit formulaic where he has a giant brawl that breaks out. But after that, it was all focused on stuff that's actually working for the most part. Swerve Ricochet has been tons of fun.
Yeah.
I agree. Tony channeling Mariah May for her match, doing her moves, wearing her gear.
The promo
all
was
that.
hilarious. The promo
Fantastic.
was great.
Harley,
Yeah.
we got another segment with Harley Cameron.
Oh my God. I'd seen somebody on social media mention that she knows she's a ventriloquist also.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's one of those talents. It's so fucking old timey and super niche.
Yeah.
It is one of the most impressive things in
Yeah,
the world to me. My grandpa was a big ventriloquist fan, dude. You remember he got me that stupid Charlie McCarthy doll.
Yeah.
But dude, that lady is impressive as all get out, man.
A multifaceted talent is Harley Cameron.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, this was a small moment, but you know, when Renee is trying to interview Hangman backstage, is like, hey, what was that about when you were looking for Swerve last week? And he was like, I don't want to talk about it. It's a moment of weakness, a mistake. That's all I'm going to say about it. Don't ask me about it again.
Yeah, man.
For a moment, you know, like there was a crack in Hangman, guilt, regret, and he was seemingly going to go talk to Swerve about it.
Mm-hmm.
Show some remorse, contrition. And then Swerve just happened to not be there, offered Paige an opportunity to rethink things, and I'm not doing that. I expect him to do it at some point. It's going to happen.
Dude, he's got a sick, twisted kinship with Swerve, a really unhealthy one. And yes, at some point that's going to come back around. I mean, maybe that'll be the all-in match for Texas. I don't know, but boy, I like that bit. Hangman does such terrific work, and again with AEW, it's a situation where, you know, unfortunately the main event scene right now is kind of doggy doo doo.
Yeah.
But a lot of what they got going on is really, really good.
Yeah, they put the right amount of focus on the Death Rider stuff in this episode, and not have multiple segments over the course of the show, whether it be Mox word salad or just another, 4-on-1 attack. You know, you had Jay White up with the show with an interview talking about his new relationship with Cope and FTR, and that didn't last too long. There was a brawl spilled into the arena. That didn't last too long, and that was it. Nothing else.
Yeah, it's funny though, because even with the there's not a lot going on there. There's still weird shit because Cope challenges Mox to a match at Revolution. We saw that coming, and Mox is like, you don't deserve it, no. And then Jay gets on the mic and also challenges, but for some reason a tag match at in Australia at the Grand Slam show.
Yeah,
and it's like, why wouldn't you just also ask for a title match or
That's
something?
what I thought he was going to do too.
Same. And then he was like, hey, you and Claudio, me and Copeland. I'm like, what? Why are you?
I know. It's like, it's Jay is, we both like Jay White a lot.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And them including him in this kind of point in the story is like the only interesting thing going on in my mind for this whole story.
I agree. Yeah.
And I was worried he was just going to be kind of relegated to feuding with Wheeler Yuta, which is, he should be doing so much more than just feuding with Wheeler. But it seems like now he might actually be feuding with Claudio.
Yeah, he's working his way up. I mean, look, maybe, I don't know, what's after Grand Slam is Revolution. What's after Revolution?
Double or Nothing.
Okay.
No, Dynasty in April.
Dynasty, okay.
So maybe they'll do Jay and Mox one-on-one at Dynasty.
Maybe he'll get Claudio at Revolution.
Could be.
And that'll clear the way for him to challenge Mox properly one-on-one. Unfortunately, lose there. You never have the dude he's the switchblade. Why is he calling people out for a tag match? And honestly, I'm just bringing this up right now because it's the lone criticism I think I have, besides maybe some of the MJF stuff with the episode last night. And it just goes to show, again, when they focus on stuff that's good, Dynamite's good, But the thing is, they need to do that on a consistent basis.
Yes.
There still needs to be a little bit more of a sense of urgency. But we saw a little bit more of that last night.
We did.
And yeah. for them to
Definitely did.
get to that next level, you know?
Yeah. Let's just jump into it. Let's talk about Swerve Ricochet in the main event first. After the opening bout, which saw Will Ospreay take on Mark Davis. It's a fantastic video package.
This is really well done.
Really well put together. Highlighting kind of the story beats thus far in the Swerve Ricochet feud. That match main evented the show. Ricochet attacks Swerve during Swerve's entrance with a chair. Continues to hit him with the chair. Eventually, they make their way to the ring. Ref calls for the bell. And Ricochet pretty quickly hits Vertigo. Swerve kicks out. A lot of great stuff throughout this match. The powerbomb on the barricade was awesome. Swerve hitting a stomp early. Ricochet kicks out. Ricochet hits a German suplex on the apron, follows with a springboard 450, gets a 2 there. Ricochet hits a shooting star press, gets another 2. He's looking for a spirit gun. This was awesome. And Swerve counters with a house call. That was fantastic. There's a great sequence where they were just like counting each other, trying to hit power bombs until Swerve hit the power slam. That was really good too.
Dude, the power bomb on the barricade was nuts.
That was nuts.
It was
That
nuts.
thud.
Yeah,
That sounded
boy.
awful. So Swerve goes up top for another Swerve stomp, and on the way down, Ricochet kind of puts his hands up to protect himself, so he accidentally low blows Swerve. And so Ricochet takes a moment, realizes the situation, hits him with the spirit gun to get the win, and then Swerve wore Jimmy Rave's robe to the ring, like he does from time to time. And then Ricochet stole that after stealing the win.
That moment where he realizes that he's got Swerve exactly where he wants him, Ricochet did such a wonderful performance there. You know, dude, Ricochet is that one guy, and I wish, you know, from a presentation standpoint, it's everything. He's got everything going on right now. I just wish he'd change his name to Trevor Mann. I think that would
that'd
add
be cool.
so much dimension to it,
I
but
know.
whatever. It's his brand, it's his name. I get it. But now he's got everything, and I thought this was a perfectly logical. It was a great win for Ricochet. And, you know, obviously now they'll do it again. He'll be coming out with that robe. I don't know if they'll do it immediately, you know, or if they'll wait if this is going to be the Revolution match, which I guess would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Or if they'll revisit it, you know, later on. But it seems like, given that Hangman is teasing a Swerve thing, that seems to be down the line, because Double or Nothing, that's like a big pay-per-view for them. You gotta
Especially with
think they're
Ricochet taking
or All In rather.
Yeah, especially with Ricochet taking the robe. I mean, yeah, it's going to lead to another match probably sooner rather than later. I think Revolution, some sort of stipulation deal, would be highly likely. Let's talk about Toni Storm. She had a match against Queen Aminata. It was really good. Mariah May was on commentary, and Toni makes her entrance to Mariah's music, Tron. She's got Mariah's gear. She has extensions in her hair, so it's the same length as Mariah.
Yeah.
She's doing all the mannerisms and taunts and poses.
And she did like a little bit mocking it as well.
Yeah.
You know, like when she does the, like, you know, running the finger across the lip, she starts like sucking on the finger.
Yeah.
Just for that little touch of like, I'm clowning her.
Exactly.
You know, it's so good.
It was so good. So Toni gets the win with a running knee like Mariah, hip attack, and then Mayday. She hits that rather than Storm Zero. Really good match. Queen Aminata's fantastic. So Renee gets in the ring to interview Toni, and Tony's like, refer to me as Mariah May. I'm the woman from hell, and I stand on the neck of every woman in this division. There's not a woman alive that could touch me. So Mariah's like, oh, I'm tired of this. So she leaves the commentary desk and gets on the apron. And Toni turns towards her and waves her into the ring. Mariah thinks about it instead, drops off the apron, and storms out.
And Mariah May yelling at everybody ringside, I'm Mariah May. I'm Mariah. She was reduced to that, trying to convince people who she is. This was magnificent. And it's such a logical direction for this feud. And Excalibur continually telling, you know, Mariah, well, you were emulating Toni Storm. And she was like, well, that costume, Tony's ring gear, was given to me. Essentially, she was made to wear it. And she was like, I don't even know how Toni got this and how she altered it, you know, trying to body shame a little bit. Yeah, boy, this was good. I really like this. This was really good.
It was really good. Also really good, Harley Cameron. She's standing outside with Renee outside of Mercedes Moné's locker room, but at first you don't see Harley. She's got a puppet
Yeah.
of Mercedes. And using the puppet, Harley announces that she's going to have a concert on Collision on Saturday. So the camera widens out. You see Harley there. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's an amazing idea that you've come up with. You're not such a dummy after all. While this is happening, Mercedes leaves, steps out of her locker room, and asks Harley, are you stupid or are you dumb? And Renee says, Mercedes, you still don't have an opponent for Grand Slam. Harley got her first win, her first singles win. And Monet's like, oh, really? You got your first win? That's cute. I remember when I got my first win. I remember when I won this title and this title and this title. And, of course, this title, the TBS one, makes me the greatest TBS champ of all time. And you are a loser. Now stay away from my locker room. So she turns to leave, and Harley just starts flipping her off.
And Renee's trying to like keep it from Mercedes seeing it.
Yeah.
She's so wonderfully comedic. I mean, that the charisma on that lady is just off the charts.
Absolutely.
It's just she's great. And it's not surprising, and it's great to see that they're rolling with that. There's a lot of Harley Cameron on television, and that's what you got to do, man. You got to find the people that really work and focus on them more. Also, we had the Hurt Syndicate meeting the new challengers for their tag titles. So Hurt Syndicate come to the ring dressed to the nines. MVP says, everybody stand on your feet. Respect Shelton, Lashley, new champs. So we got to keep this short because we're hopping on a jet to go to the Super Bowl. Then he gives props to Private Party. He says it wasn't their fault. They had to meet the most devastating tandem in wrestling today. And we're going to put everybody else on what, Larson?
Notice.
He says, if you're an athlete or a champ, be ready. We're here to hurt you and take your title. But until that time, we're open for business. And if you'd like a chance to face them for the tag titles, and then he's interrupted by the returning Guns. We've seen some video packages for them and their return, training for their return. Big pop for the Guns. Then this is a good promo from them. Says, and they're very cautious, because obviously Hurt Syndicate is scary. They're like, we like to come to the ring and talk business because we're businessmen. MVPs, we're not dressed like businessmen, but you're conducting yourselves like men, so come to the ring, talk business. Long story short, Guns challenged. Guns want those titles. And so MVP says, you know what? I appreciate your courage and I respect your dad. And he said, if it wasn't for him, Lashley and Shelton would have already choked you out. And they make a match. Is it for next week?
Next week, yeah.
Because it's on Tuesday. Isn't Dynamite on Tuesday next week?
Oh, is it?
Man, I thought Dustin said something about Tuesday being the thing.
I'll have to check.
I was like, wait, Tuesday, really? In any event, it's the next Dynamite.
Yeah, they made the tag title match.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like Gun Club, because when MVP was leaving, it says, yeah, well, we accept the challenge. Her Syndicate against a couple of ass boys.
Yeah. And
it seems like the Guns have embraced. It says, ass boys, you're damn right we are.
All right, dude. So the Guns are returning.
Yeah.
They going to take this beat down from the Hurt Syndicate?
Yeah.
Lose this match straight up?
Yeah.
What happens to the Guns after that?
Oh, you're right. And Dynamite is on Tuesday next week.
Well, Dustin told me so.
I wonder why that is. Oh, they're probably just, I wonder if it's just to accommodate the travel to Grand Slam or if there's a sporting.
I would think it'd be a television reason.
I would think so too. Anyway, sorry.
So once again, Hurt Syndicate get the clean, just straight up win. They don't extend this out any further.
No, they don't extend this out further. No, Guns lose. Another dominant effort from Hurt Syndicate. You heard the crowd response to Hurt Syndicate last night, did you not?
They love the Hurt Syndicate. They love the Hurt Syndicate. All right.
They do.
All
no,
right.
I expect. I didn't know it'd be a more competitive match than the Private Party one.
Oh, it's gotta be. They're just coming back.
Private Party were tag champions, Steve.
Yeah, but come on, man. It's Private Party.
I don't think it'd be terribly competitive.
What's the difference between Private Party in 2019 and Private Party in 2025, man?
Well, one tag title reign.
Yeah, nothing else. Nothing else.
So to open the show, Jay White has an interview. He's in the parking lot. He's asked about his new relationship with Cope, and he says, we're seeing it develop in real time. And he says, last time I saw you, I was dealing with the Death Riders, but, given the situation, I have to rely on people I wouldn't normally rely on, which means I have to rely on FTR, and he mentions their history, and Rated R Superstar. And you say, you see, the Death Riders always have the numbers. And as he's saying that, Death Riders walk up. Well-rated FTR sneaks in behind them. And we get this huge brawl that breaks out. Eventually leads to Jay White looking for a Blade Runner on Mox. No, Spear. Sorry. Cope is looking for a spear on Mox. Claudio pushes Mox out of the way, so he eats Spear. Cope grabs the mic. It's like, hey, I challenge you to a title match on Collision. Do you accept my challenge? And that's when Mox gets the mic and says, you deserve nothing. You get nothing. Answer is no. So then Jay gets the mic, and that's when he challenges Mox and Claudio the tag match at Grand Slam. It's be what, a Brisbane brawl? No rules.
Brisbane, yeah, no rules. Brisbane brawl.
Mm-hmm.
That's a mouthful. We talked about this a little bit. So Renee had an interview with Hangman. She was like, so what was up with you looking for Swerve last week? No. He just said, no. It was nothing. It was a moment of weakness, a mistake. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So she brings up Christopher Daniels' retirement. He was like, oh, there was no regret on my face. Christopher Daniels overplayed his hand and accepted a Texas death match with the Hangman, and I hurt him so bad I'll never wrestle again. And I regret. And then he's interrupted by Caster, who's like, hey, Renee, come on, hurry it up. He says, look, I appreciate what you did to Christopher Daniels. I'd love to see you do the same thing to Bowens and maybe Billy Gunn, too. He said, I do it, but I'm just too busy. Paige says, that sounds like a great idea, but because he's got like some like certificate. What was the certificate about?
I think he's got like a certificate saying that he's the best wrestler, greatest wrestler
Yes, that's
alive.
what it is. Yeah. It's like certified.
Yeah.
Which is great. It's a great gimmick.
Yeah.
He says, and then Paige sounds like, he says, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But the thing is, Bowens and Billy aren't here, but I'd still like to break somebody's neck. Cash was like, no, I'm good. He's like, no,
because
come
the
on,
implication
you're
of that page is gonna.
He's
have a
like,
match
you're
with
here
Caster.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go to my car. Oh, good. I'll follow you. I'll join you.
Yeah.
We get a little bit more of that later.
We do. First match of the night was Will Ospreay versus the newest member of the Don Callis family, Mark Davis, which I at least appreciated that Don, while on commentary, explained why Mark Davis, after seemingly feuding with Kyle Fletcher for the handful of times he's been on AEW TV since return from injury, was now facing against Will Ospreay, and essentially is Don Callis has Mark Davis under contract because of when Aussie Open joined Callis family a while back. Ironclad deal. Mark Davis can't get out of it. Therefore, Mark Davis has to honor the terms of that contract and be a member of the Don Callis family. Why that wasn't the case when Mark Davis came back, I don't know, but...
And well, kind of more importantly than that, dude, don't you think a better story could have been told by Mark Davis feeling like the odd man out? It's like, hey, I came back to no fanfare, no pop. Nobody cares about me. I'm lost, and Callis offered me this opportunity. That sounds like a more interesting. You could have told that in like 3 segments.
Yeah.
He's sitting there eating like chili out of a can. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm in a bad state of affairs right now, mate.
Yeah. Well, here,
not even booked for Grand Slam.
By the way, you're under contract, Callis family.
Ooh. It's like, we've been trying to find you. We have a check for you. Oh, crikey.
This was a really good match.
Yeah, this was rad. This was a really good match.
That pile driver that Mark Davis did, that was like half destroyer, half like head scissors into pile driver, was great. Anyways, finish saw Davis rip the turnbuckle cover off. He's looking to send Ospreay into it. Rick Knox says, turnbuckle, no way. Gets in the way. So Davis argues with him, and that allows Ospreay to hit Davis with the hidden blade to get the win. Then Ospreay gets on the mic, calls Don Callis a party pooper. Says, I got a new best friend that I'm teaming up with at Grand Slam. Kenny comes out and just tells Callis family, prepare for Grand Slam. It's been a long time since people could feel what I was feeling in 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, 23, but I'm back. And all you people will feel the same things I'm feeling, because next week it's just not going to be a match for fun. It's a match to prove the future of the company lies not on the ramp, but here in the ring.
Yeah, man.
Because by that point, Takeshita and Fletcher had come out.
Trying to bring back the feeling, Larson.
Yep.
The Callis family.
He says.
Speaking of the Callis family, they took on the Hounds of Hell. This is a really, really fun match. Fletcher and Takeshita end up getting the win here.
Oh, that assisted brainbuster on Brody was
That's a
Crazy.
lot of pounds to be coming down from that high in the sky, man. Ooh, boy. Yeah, that's
really
rough,
good.
man. That's rough.
Really good match.
That was some good stuff. So, yeah, Callis family here gets the win with that assisted brain buster. Largely because, so earlier, Buddy Matthews challenged Kazuchika Okada for the Continental Championship. Called him a biatch. Okada got upset at that, so I'm not a biatch. And so Okada's music and Tron played during the match, which led to a distraction from Matthews, who had, I think, the Takeshita down or Fletcher down or something like that.
Yeah, he was on the top rope.
He was on the top rope. He was about to do his big move. And so he got distracted from that. So unfortunately, that didn't happen. Oh man, Alyssa's here. She caught me with my Australian accent, my terrible Mark Davis accent.
Oh, wow.
She says I'm personally, all caps, mind you, personally insulted. My apologies. Wow. I'm working on it every day, Alyssa. I am. That's the best I can muster up. I'm trying. I'm honestly trying.
Next time you're in the car, you got to practice more.
Next time I'm in the car, you know what? I need some tapes. I need some tapes of who is Crocodile? Paul Hogan? Him talking, And then I got
Zondo says, watch some Bluey.
The Australian accent is such a difficult one. It's weird. Really difficult accent.
Later on, we had Samoa Joe and Hook backstage. So Joe's pissed about Christian. Hit him in the head with the contract thing. And so they're looking for the patriarchy. And Hook says, you said it yourself. If you're furious, you're not focused. So anyways, they barge into the patriarchy.
Oh, I love Joe's response to that, too. What did I tell you about using my own words against me?
Yeah.
They have got good chemistry.
They do. So they barge into the patriarchy locker room, and it's fine. Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. They ask for Christian. Kip tells them, get lost. So Joe and Hook beat the shit out of them. And during the process of beating the shit out of them, Christian and Mother Wayne peek in. Oh, turn around and leave.
That was pretty comical. That was pretty well
funny.
Done. Yeah. That was
so then Joe and Hook leave the locker room, and then Christian kind of peeks around the corner. All right, they're gone. So he and Mother Wayne go in the locker room. He's all, what happened? What happened? As if he didn't see the beatdown happen.
That's pretty funny.
So we got a New York Minute where Jericho's talking about Bandito returning, and essentially says, hey, Brian Keith, this wanted sign has a $100,000 bounty on Bandito. I'll double that if you could take him out, do to him what Bill did to Powerhouse Hobbs. So Bill's about to start talking shit about Hobbs. Hobbs makes his entrance. Learning Tree attack him. Outrunners come out to make the save. And then Bill and Hobbs kind of look at each other from across the ring, choke slam security guards on the floor. They start brawling, go to commercial, come back. Learning Tree is escorted out of the building.
Solid feud here between Hobbs and Big Bill. Good stuff. Good stuff here. The final thing we've got listed here. I love that you read my mind, man. The MJF stuff, it's at the end. I like it. It made its way. Like the Learning Tree is thanks to the power of Hobbs and Big Bill.
Exactly.
Moving their way up from the bottom of the AEW notes.
Exactly.
This whole, you guys realize, Larson puts a lot of effort and thought into power ranking the stories.
Yeah.
In AEW.
Obviously, the stories that are the most interesting, that are getting the most TV time, that are perhaps of most interest to those listening to the show, I put towards the top.
Absolutely. Well done. So anyways, this whole segment's so long. MJF comes out, talks some shit about Jeff Jarrett, says Jeff had to stay out of my way, and that's why Jeff just had to stay out of his way, and that's why I had to teach him a lesson. Now that he's out of my way, one step closer to attaining my triple B, because nobody's on the level of and then he's interrupted by Max Caster sliding into the ring. He's on the run from Hangman Adam Page. And he's trying to use MJF as kind of a shield, and Page makes his entrance. Gets in MJF's face. We have a stare off there. Then chases Caster through the crowd, and he's like, what the hell? It's like, this is my time. They're interrupting my time. Goes back to trying to do his catchphrase. He's interrupted again, this time by Dustin Rhodes. Dustin says, shut your trap. He says, all you do is come out here and badmouth everyone in the back and suggest that. I suggest you keep Owen Hart's name out of your mouth, or I'm going to kick your teeth down your throat. Don't talk about people's struggles with drugs and alcohol. There's a reason at 55 years old I'm still hanging with everybody on this roster. It's because I'm a survivor.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Dustin.
I'm the last of my kind because I survive everything. I want you to know that when I'm gone, the mold will be broken forever. I'm better than you and your punk bitch ass knows it. And then he's like, MJF is like wiping the spit off his face. Because he's just spitting like crazy.
Yeah.
He says, man, take a bow. But I imagine all those years of being a drug addict turned your brain into Swiss cheese in order to call yourself the best in the world. He said, you're a man who took 37 long years just to get out from under your daddy's shadow. And after all that hard work and sacrifice, you now live in the shadow of your baby brother. And then Dustin punches MJF.
Yeah.
Trades some shots. Security runs in to break it up. MJF is able to break free, rushes back to the ring, and kicks Dustin right in his dick.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, Dustin's got another promo. Says, for 37 years, people have been trying to put me in the ground. MJF, I'm the last of my kind in Austin, Texas. I'm going to beat your ass, bitch. Very grisly, that Dustin Rhodes.
Good Dustin.
I appreciate it. So,
and that was AEW Dynamite.
That's your AEW Dynamite.
Likewise, NXT, fun show. Kind of talky, though. There's a lot of talking in
Dude,
NXT.
I really enjoyed it. You know what, man? Let me ask you this.
I've hold on, I've said this before. I know my experience watching wrestling is different on the shows that I have to take notes for. So when there's a lot of talking, there's a lot more typing I have to do. And therefore, my enjoyment level of the actual programming, a little bit lower than it normally might be.
I had so much fun watching NXT this morning, dude. I was like dealing with a sick child yesterday and a couple other things. So I was like, I did not watch NXT. I watched some neither until this morning. So I woke up early, luckily on the Canadian Netflix, they chop out the commercials on Max, no commercials. Yep. So, or they have commercials, but you can just fast, obviously you just scrub through them. So it made things really, really easy on me. But god dang, I liked NXT. I thought it was a lot of fun. This week.
We were speculating last week, I think, after they made this tag match that was the main event, that perhaps if Trick got the win here, then he would be, put into the Vengeance Day title match, make it a fatal 4-way rather than a triple threat. That didn't happen.
Nope.
Because of Eddie Thorpe. So it seems like Trick and Eddie are going to have a strap match.
Seems like it. Yeah.
At Vengeance Day.
Yeah.
And I would guess if Trick doesn't win that match, then that's kind of Trick's farewell to NXT.
Oh, shit. Are you actually proposing that Eddie Thorpe is going to beat Trick Williams at Vengeance Day?
I'm not proposing it as an idea I'm behind. I'm just saying if that's the outcome.
What? I don't think that. Boy, well, hey, look, I don't know. What odds do you give that of happening?
I don't know. I got to see how, the next 9 days play out. 9 days. 9 days.
Because, there's only the go home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at it as an indicator of Trick's NXT future. Is he going to stay there a while? If so, obviously he beats Eddie. Yeah.
Well, dude, hold on a second, though. There's Stand and Deliver coming up. You don't think that they would just do straight up Trick versus... Because he wants to get at Oba straight up.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
So he gets to Oba straight up at Stand and Deliver. Oba straight up beats the shit out of him. And then Trick quantum leaps out to the draft.
Yeah, I suppose that's the scenario.
Boy, lost to Eddie Thorpe on the way out. Trying to make Eddie Thorpe into a new big deal.
I'm not advocating for Trick taking
I'm not saying you are. Look, man, I defer to you. You're the king of predictions, but I do not predict.
I was expecting Trick to be involved in the transfer window and get called up after losing the title. I thought that was going to be the case, but maybe the idea is they're in no hurry to bring him up to main roster quite yet.
Well, I think with the draft right after WrestleMania, assuming they do.
Well, we don't know if there's a draft after Mania.
They'll do a draft. They got to do a draft. They got to relieve some of that pressure. And, kind of like, I think the intention with Carmelo last year, if nothing else, make a big deal, try to make a big deal about people coming in from NXT. I'd be surprised if they didn't. I guess it's always possible they don't. They just do like a regular call up, soft, hard, whatever.
Because why do the draft after you just had the transfer window?
Well, let me ask you this. Stand and Deliver, biggest NXT show of the year.
Yeah, it's their Mania, yeah.
What would be, because that roster is thin, buddy. What would be the Oba Femi match?
Yeah, I guess it'd have to be Trick.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, boy, I mean, it'd be a big win for Eddie Thorpe, but man, oh man.
No, I don't see it happening. I'm just saying, I think it's kind of potentially an indicator of.
Let me ask you this.
What?
I'm skipping around the notes right now, but over the past couple weeks, past couple months, you've said, and I've pretty much agreed with you, or you've asked me, as Lexus King, one of the more interesting characters. Or
Not now.
They had something so good
I know.
with him proclaiming that he's a good guy, but always doing bad guy things. Why didn't they stick with that?
I don't know. It pretty much says, "Ha, fooled you all." I feel the best about myself when I'm my father's son, essentially. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of a letdown.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a lot
I
more
thought it was
interesting if he tries to fight whatever impulses he has to cheat and try to walk, the straight and narrow and be a baby face. There's a lot you can do with that. I like the idea they introduced William Regal, who's tempting him to cheat.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I can't do it. Can't. The feud with Charlie Dempsey, given that he's Regal's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
It was, yeah.
And then now he's got the Heritage Cup. He's like, nah, I'm a bad guy. And on top of that, no more Heritage Cup rules. And it's like, all right, it's just another championship then. What set the Heritage Cup apart was the matches.
Okay, so that aspect of it, I don't necessarily hate, only because it makes a big deal when whatever babyface wins it back, then restores it to its previous honor.
It's the conjunction of the two things.
Mm-hmm.
The heel turn plus that.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just kind of underwhelming. From a creative standpoint, from telling interesting stories, I thought it was a step back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was, however, a way to reintroduce dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Well, they play this song. It's got the Tron, and then one of the first things he says is, "My name is JDC."
Right. Does the J and the C stand for Johnny? I don't watch TNA.
Yeah,
Heather.
that's Johnny
Heather.
Curtis, yeah.
Heather.
I would imagine it's Johnny Curtis.
Is it Johnny Dango Curtis? Is that what
so.
the JDC stands for?
I think so.
Talk about one of the biggest, and people don't see this, one of the biggest ball drops, maybe in modern WWE history.
Here's the thing. We had the pleasure of interviewing
Johnny
Curtis years back at one of the video game events.
Yeah. Which we don't get invited to anymore. For probably good reason.
You don't realize he's massive.
Oh, he's a big dude. He's WWE size.
Yeah, he's, 6'2", 6'3", easy?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Probably 225 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a WWE-sized dude.
He's always had the charisma, the camera charisma. He's got that, and this is the one thing that I think a lot of people never really realize with him. Especially when you go back to and you look at some of his early NXT stuff with EC3, they had that level of comedic timing that would work better today than back then. They had that kind of wink and a nudge kind of thing, And the fact that they didn't see that in him, and they placed him with the Fandango stuff, which he knew was ridiculous, and he ran with that and did such a good job with such a limited ceilinged gimmick. This guy could have been a big deal. He had everything. And it's a shame that he got saddled with that gimmick because, trying to break free of that, even though him and Tyler Breeze with the fashion police stuff was wildly entertaining. It was hilarious.
Super funny.
They didn't really, explore that to its most degree. I really always liked Johnny Curtis. I thought that he was really tremendous talent.
No, I did too. And after talking to him, I was like, this dude has it all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 1,000%. So it'll be fun to see him. I mean, obviously he's going to lose that one, but is that match happening at Vengeance Day?
No, it's next week.
That's next week. Okay, they're just going to do it on
week,
TV.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yep. Let's just jump into it. So main event, Oba and Trick teaming up to face A-Town Down Under. Both Oba and Trick had interviews preceding their match. And Oba's asked, are you gonna talk to Trick or anything about it? Do you have anything to say? About the powerbomb last week? And Ava says that she runs everything in NXT, but I run everything in the ring. Tonight, I'm going to show Waller and Theory that they don't belong in the ring with me. Oh, that's when Sarah asked about, hey, do you owe Trick an explanation for the powerbomb last week? He says, nope, I'll see Trick in the ring. Later on, Trick has an interview. Sarah asks if he's talked to Oba, and he says, no, we don't need to talk game plan. Plan is simple. I'm going to show Ava that I should be the one getting the title shot at Vengeance Day, so tonight I'm going to drop Waller and Theory on their bitch asses, and I got a receipt for Oba too.
And I love that Trick has such a fire under him. This is what it should be anytime. And both promotions have dropped the ball on this before.
Yes.
Anytime somebody loses a championship, they should be desperately clawing to get it back, and that's what they do with Trick Williams.
Mm-hmm. So then on the way to the ring, A-Town Down Under have a interview. Waller says, we're going to show why we're the best tag team in WWE. Theory says, we check all the boxes. We can't be denied. And Waller says, yeah, that's why at Vengeance Day, I'm being next NXT champion. So Theory stops. It's like, you're going to be champion? I'm be the one to take the NXT title. Waller backtracks. Oh, it's like you, me, doesn't matter. There's going to be a new champion at Vengeance Day. Their music hits. They make their entrance. Finish sees Eddie Thorpe sneak into the ring, blast Trick with a leather strap. That allows Waller to hit the rolling flatliner to get the win. A-Town Down Under leaves. Oba looks into the ring to see what's going to happen and maybe considers helping Trick out. Says no, leaves. And then Eddie proceeds to attack Trick.
Yeah. Before we get into the little faction, the new faction here thing, why is it that they're advancing this A-Town Down Under story more on NXT than they have on main roster in months?
Crossover.
Months. Hey, I'm not hating on it. I like it. You know, you put these guys in a triple threat, and yeah, I think they're gonna do a lot of advancement with A-Town Down Under. So yeah, that's good. Yeah. And then after everything, we had the color bar glitch thing happen afterwards, and then silhouetted 4 gentlemen standing there with their faces obviously silhouetted. It's like
you can't see who they are. You
witness protection program.
You saw someone's buff arm.
Somebody has a buff arm. I saw some people saying that one of the individuals looked like Ricky Stark ears. Had Ricky Stark ears. Which I could see. It was the one second to the right, I think. And I was like, oh, maybe. And then I think the dude on the far left, people were saying was Lucky Ali, who's an indie wrestler. Yeah. And then, but I don't know what anybody said about the other guys.
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen any of that speculation. I mean, I don't know when Ricky Stark's contract is up, so.
Yeah.
Who knows? Did they say? So did they? I don't think they did announce when Eddie and Trick was taking place. I imagine Vengeance Day, though.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't Vengeance Day, yeah. When is Vengeance Day again?
It's the 15th.
Oh, 16th. Same weekend as Grand Slam?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, yeah, Trick should win that. Should.
I'd be shocked if he didn't, but then again,
They don't seem shy about having Trick eat pins either. He got pinned by Sean Spears. He got pinned by Oba in the triple threat. He got pinned on the tag match.
I mean, dude, they could do the thing where he loses, make Eddie Thorpe look good. He gets screwed out of a win and then has to claw his way back to a stand and deliver match. And sort of, I don't know if they do that or not. I think they want Trick to be kind of strong heading into stand and deliver.
You think so?
Yeah.
You think so? Anyways. We had a face-to-face, between Julia, Bayley, and Roxanne. At first, it was just Bayley and Roxanne. Bunch of crap talk. Of course, Roxanne brings up being in the Rumble, breaking Bayley's record. Again, says Bayley just came to NXT to win the title. And then Roxanne says, I'm going to win the title back at Vengeance Day, and after that, the vision's clear. I'm going to go to Raw. And then Bayley says, shut up. I hope one day you surpass all of my accomplishments. She says, do you realize that I was here and built one of the first rings in this very room, Dusty top promo class, and taught me how to hold a microphone. But Roxanne, you don't respect any of that. You lost your mind when you lost your title. And in the process, you're having this hissy fit. You might lose your best friend too. Says, so when it comes to me and the title, if I don't win it, I'll be fine, but will you? So Roxanne says, when it comes to that title, I have no friends, no mentors, and right now there'll be no equals. To win the title, then I'm going to go to Raw, SmackDown, win those titles, and if I have to vacate the NXT Women's title, then maybe Core can finally win a championship. That brings up Julia. She says Roxanne had enough, and you're nothing without this title. Bayley, I'll beat you too at Vengeance Day. Neither of you will survive the beautiful madness. They get interrupted by woo.
Dude,
Charlotte.
what a homecoming for Charlotte. This crowd gave her the proper respect that she deserves. They were saying welcome home. It was great. And you can see the emotion on her face to be actually welcomed back after her long time away. So kudos to the NXT crowd. It was kind of irritating during Lexus King. During his promo, it wasn't the best promo in the world, but there was like some people just like doing a relentless boo, and it just sort of got irritating at a certain point. But conversely, having them be so warm to Charlotte, I thought was absolutely fantastic. So well done, NXT Performance Center crowd.
So Charlotte comes out and says, I'm home. Your queen has arrived because I'm NXT homegrown, and NXT will always be my home. Do you remember the first time I won the Rumble and faced the NXT Women's Champion, became a 2-time champion? Roxanne, you were the Iron Woman of the Rumble. But if you're champ by the time it's Mania, you'll be runner-up again. Julia, the hype is real. I do respect you. You are the champ of the greatest women's division in the world, but I'm better. So Julia, you ask Bayley, whatever title I select for Mania, I'll be walking out champion. Ooh. So then Cora sneaks in the ring with the kendo stick and hits Julia and Bayley with it. Takes a swing at Roxanne, but Perez ducks it and slides out of the ring. So then Cora picks up the women's title and holds it up, and then blasts Bayley with the kendo again.
Yeah. You think they're going to end up adding her to the match by the time Vengeance Day comes around?
I guess it's a possibility.
You'd think that they probably would. Because later on, Bayley barges into Ava's office as she's trying to talk to Fraxium. Says she wants a match against Cora. Ava says Bayley can have her next week. She lives. So you got to think if Cora finds a way to beat Bayley, or if they want that finish somehow, that she can earn her way into the match. Somebody's got to eat that pin.
Yeah. So then Bayley leaves. Briggs and Inamura come in. They want a tag match. And they're like, because earlier in the show, they both kind of split off to get themselves matches. So, because Fraxium says, I'll give you a title shot. You just got to beat somebody. So they each say they got matches against Hank and Tank and No Quarter Catch Crew. And Ava's like, all right, this is too much. Let's make it a triple threat match. Winner gets Fraxium. Fraxium's wrestling Nick and Ryan Nemeth on Impact.
Hey, there you go. That's right. When is there? Did they already have their match against the Rascals?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Heather, did they have that match?
That's probably really good.
It's probably a really good match. Heather, was it a good match? Also, Stephanie Vaquer. I like this because they made her look super strong. She faced JC Jane ahead of her North American title match. It was the opener for the show. Stephanie hits a 619 springboard crossbody. Covers. Jasmine tries to break it up. Jasmine Nix comes in. Vaquer gets out of the way, and instead Jasmine ends up hitting JC. The ref lets it go. Stephanie hits Nix with a headbutt, follows a super kick, and then a package backbreaker for the win. But I kind of appreciate that, like, even with the distraction, even with the interference, she looks even stronger heading into her match with Fallon. So later on, Stephanie has an interview in the parking lot, asks what to expect from her title match against Fallon. Says that, I've gone through everything in my path, and it doesn't look good for Fallon's title reigns. My eyes are on the North American title. During this time, you see Lola Vice in the background walk by and stare at Stephanie, so that could be her first feud after she wins this title at Vengeance Day. She says, at Vengeance Day, I'm going to make history and win the title. Fallon, JC, and Jasmine can't help you. Fallon, I'll see you in hell.
Yep. Then we had Lexus celebrating his Heritage Cup win and saying, he was a heel the whole time.
This is really long.
It was very long, so I'm not going to get into it. Talks crap about Ryan Leaf.
That was actually good. That was funny because he was like, why would I need advice from Ryan Leaf? He's the biggest bust of all time. And then you hear Booker T say, yeah, I agree with that.
So he pretty much just says, you want me to change? I'm the Heritage Cup champ because I stay true to who I am. Truth is, this title has been mistreated for far too long. I'm going to change the way that's defended. From this point forward, one fall, winner take all. Johnny Curtis comes out, interrupts them. There's some crap talk, and Johnny Curtis pretty much says, I'm here representing the system from TNA. We're always looking for more gold. I wouldn't mind having that title. I spoke to Ava next week. We're going to have a match.
Yeah. Dude, this Javon Evans cracks me up. Him
so
having the mouth wired shut, just trying to talk shit, but you can't hear what he's saying. Him and Ego have just really good. I don't know why they just have really good chemistry in this feud. This is sort of like my, like Dark Horse feud going on right now in NXT that I just love every little bit of. So Ava's standing between the two of them. Security makes sure they don't start swinging. Ava tells Paige and Evans, "You guys need to be on your best behavior." And Evans like, and then Paige says, "The only reason I haven't punched you yet is because I promised Ava." And then Ava suspends Javon because he keeps coming down to the ring. Paige says, "You shouldn't have suspended Evans. You should punish him by putting him in a match with me." And then Ava's like, "Okay, fine. That match happens at Vengeance Day if Javon Evans gets cleared." Mm-hmm. So just this one little tiny promo bit had me very entertained.
Oh yeah. Are you going to watch Wild Cards on the CW to see Tony D'Angelo's acting debut?
Okay. I did not know. I thought this was a fucking vignette because I see all these people. I'm like, God damn, they got themselves a fancy camera. And then Tony D comes. I'm like, is it? I was so lost. I was like, is this a new faction for Tony D? What is happening? Right? What's that?
It's a new family.
Right. I was like, Tony D is putting on a masterclass in acting right now. Like, what is this? And then they cut to them watching the TV. And I'm like, oh no, they cut to like the graphic for the TV show. I'm like, what? He's got a role on a TV show and he's actually pretty good? Yeah. What is happening? I won't watch the thing, but what is happening right now? And they're like, hey, Tony. And there's like a weird mix of like, oh, he's Hollywood, but he's like, is that real? There's like a weird, and hey, look at you, Tony D going Hollywood. Yeah. And I don't know. I was like, that was cool as hell.
Yeah. Stax wasn't into it.
That one thing got me into Tony D, man. And yeah, wow. Stax was not into that. He was not like, yeah, you were too busy being Hollywood while I was getting my ass kicked.
Well, he says, is that what you're talking with Izzy about rather than coming out for my match?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Tony is like, why don't you worry about your match with Rich tonight?
Relax. I was just busting your balls.
So then after commercial break, that match happens. Of course, Ridge beats Stax because Izzy comes to the ring to try to distract Ridge. Stax rolls him up. Ridge kicks out. Lariat, package GT later. Ridge gets the W. Later on, Ridge steps up to Tony D'Angelo and the family and Izzy and says, if I get a true one-on-one title match against you, I'd win. He says, you always have people watching your every move because Spears and his crew were in the background just watching the conversation happen. Says, I don't trust any of them. And so Izzy's like, why don't you just have a cage match? No one gets involved then. Tony says, fine, I don't need the family to beat you. So we're going to see the Ridge join Spears' group.
God, I hope not. I don't care. I'm not
Let me ask you, Ridge's fortunes be better aligning with Spears or not? Or is it a wash?
You got to think not. Look at where he's been without Spears' group. He's been like in the main event.
World title shot, and he's lost the North American title shot. Maybe with them, he'll win one of those matches, Steve.
Like, this was so weirdly framed, too, because, like, isn't the point, like, Spears' group is stalking Izzy? And they were like, when you're stalking, so I'm not a stalker. I know you're not either. But I don't think you're supposed to be just sitting there in broad daylight staring at people.
No,
like you're supposed to be
like lit specifically so you see them in the background. Yeah.
Right. Like Ridge comes up and like the stalkers are right there.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are terrible at what you're doing. I don't even know. Has Nico ever talked? Has he ever said anything?
Yeah. He's talked to Spears. He hasn't a promo, but like there's been interactions between them all. Yeah.
Man, I am not a fan of Spears' group. They're like bottom rung.
They need to bring back Ty Dillinger. 10.
I can appreciate the person, but there ain't no gimmick that he's ever done that I've been into, except that one time he got super kicked by HBK.
I like Ty Dillinger. Anyways, we had from a match set up last week. Kalani Jordan takes on Carmen Petrovich. Jada Parker joins commentary, but rather sitting with Booker T and Vic behind the desk. I like this. It's a small thing. She just sits like in front of the desk. She kind of leans against the desk. So she's that much closer to the ring. And she's just like talking shit the entire time. It was pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
In the end, Jordan gets the win initially. She's staring at Jada and hits like an Olympic slam, a couple split-legged moonsaults, and locks on a chokehold. Carmen taps. Again, Kalani's doing this, staring at Jada Parker the whole time.
Yeah.
And then after the bell, Jordan puts the chokehold back on. Refs come out to break it up, so the referee of the match, reverses the decision, awards the match to Carmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that should actually be a really good match. Kalani Jordan and Jada Parker.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, Briggs and Inamura still looking for a title match. So backstage, you have Fraxium talking about facing the Nemeth brothers. Briggs and Inamura walk in. Briggs is like, "Oh man, you guys dodged me. Look what happened to the last guys. OTM, they dodged me too." And then Fraxium is like, "Yeah, we've been defending our titles while you guys have only been talking. Go find an opponent to prove you're worthy of a tag title." That was a very My Career-esque moment there.
Yeah.
Go find an opponent to prove you're worthy of a tag title match, and then you got to make a decision there. Also, Sol Ruka and Zarya face Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan earlier. Lash and Jakara walk in the locker room. Zarya and Sol walk up to them, saying, "Hey, great main event last week, but you came up short, just like Lash came up short in the Rumble."
Well, Zarya's just talking all sorts of shit.
And Lash correctly said, "Yeah, I did all that while you were sitting on your ass at home. Real easy to talk shit when you're not out there." Mm-hmm. Which, yeah, good point.
Good point.
So then Tatum steps in with Gigi and Shotzi. Says, Lash is right. Beating Bianca and Naomi is no easy task. And then Gigi says, "Lash and Jakara stepped up. Still waiting on you to do the same, Zarya." So then she does. They have a match. And then what's the win? Oh, man, that Soul Snatcher was something else here. So, Zarya drops Gigi with a clothesline, catches Tatum jumping off the top rope, hits her with an F5 onto Gigi, and then Sol follows with a Soul Snatcher on Gigi for the win. Really good TV direction on that, though. It made the Soul Snatcher look like $1 million, which it already kind of does.
See Sol kind of jump into frame.
Yeah, that was really cool. We had a super chat here from Martial Arts Film Freak, which is a great name for a YouTube channel because it tells me exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Says, "Hey, friendo, I was just curious if you received my package. Tracking said it arrived at the P.O. Box last Friday. I will go to the P.O. Box and pick that up. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
We don't get a ton of mail, so I don't make my way over there very often. But thank you very much. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get that, and then we'll open it on the camera."
Yeah. Want to answer some questions,
your
Steve?
NXT recap? Yes. Let's go ahead and do that.
Lord Ziffer says thoughts on the potential unified Cody belt combining the Winged Eagle with the undisputed title. I'd love to see it, like an updated.
I'm down.
Updated design of the Winged Eagle.
Sure, you know me, man. Any title is a good title.
You want to get that Cody special edition?
I don't know, man. Cody's like the 10th most interesting thing to me in wrestling these days.
Wow.
Look, I like Cody. Don't get me wrong. I like him. I like when he came back and crop dusted Kevin Owens. But, tastes change and whatnot.
I suppose. Alex Foster says, "Am I the only one excited that this new faction debuting is going to be some relatively unknown names? I feel like it's been so long since we've gotten something like that. It could be huge."
As long as, they go to the appropriate lengths to flesh out their characters from the beginning, then, yeah, I'm down with that. I like that.
Maximum Impact on their debut, too.
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
Gotta be something. You just can't have a promo after the first match, after the main event, lay everybody out or something like that,
Yeah.
Nate Cruz says, "Who would you want to see play a timeless type of character from the men's side of AEW?"
AEW.
I don't know, man. Tony embodies that character so well.
Is there anybody who comes off like an old school Turner Classic Movies type star?
You see Dustin Rhodes in some old westerns?
That's get Dustin Rhodes in kind of a John Wayne type role. That'd be good. Who's like the Cary Grant of AEW? Dude, who kind of looks like, just you gotta take the goofy hair away. Picture him in an old suit, 1940s black and white.
Kip Sabian.
Colton Gunn.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kind of, he can have that face, can he?
Yeah, Yeah, I think so.
I think he could do it.
Jimmy Thomas says Ricochet has truly evolved into a captivating character, something we never saw in WWE. It's fascinating to see how he's grown. With that in mind, who do you think would thrive from a change of scenery in the wrestling world?
Oh man. Jay White should go to New Japan Pro Wrestling. They need to kick up the sense of urgency with Jay White. He can be on the level of an Ospreay, all those guys, sort of Hangman. He could be on that level.
Oh, absolutely.
But they got to kick him up a level to the sense of urgency, you know?
I'm going to say Thunder Rosa.
Oh, that's not a bad answer.
Like, obviously a few years back, she was, one of the cornerstone of the women's division in AEW. And then where's she been?
Can you imagine WWE's production behind Thunder Rosa? Be pretty good.
Pretty great.
Juan Villa.
Sorry, go ahead.
Juan Villa says, you guys ever had a deja vu wrestling moment? He says, I just did with CM Punk and Sammy. The ending of their match, legit to the very detail. I don't have deja vu moments very often. They do happen with me, but it's very few and far between. Don't think it's ever happened in wrestling.
Usually, I think it's a situation where it's deja vu, it's usually a moment where my memory is just, obviously my memory sucks. It's me misremembering something. I know that's not one and the same, but I'm like, oh, I feel like this happened before, but it's because my memory is bad.
Oh, I feel you. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Joshua here asks, apart from Zelina, who do you think is the most underrated women's wrestler on WWE's roster? Zoe Stark.
Yeah, I think that she should be. I think she should be the person to dethrone Lyra.
Oh, this is an interesting question. Sebastian Garcia says, what are some traits that Toni Storm would take on if she played the role of Steve or Larson?
Well, she'd come out with a whole sleeve of double stuffed Oreos if it was me.
Mm-hmm.
She'd say things like, look, I'm going to be honest with you.
If it was me, not going to happen.
Somebody called me out in the comments on, I don't know, it was either Wrestle Juice or here the other day. They take a drink every time Steve says, look, I'm going to be honest with you.
That's your let me tell you something.
They just want to let me tell you something. Like, what? Am I not honest otherwise? What's going on? You know who's the absolute king of, what would you even consider, like, what's the word for what that is? I guess a transitionary phrase, something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Charles
Charles Barkley. That dude will string several together. Mm-hmm. First of all, let me tell you something. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Listen, this is the thing. I'm gonna tell you something right now.
Yeah.
He does that better than anybody else.
Yeah. Timor here asked, pick a film, replace one of the actors with Toni Storm.
What was that Hitchcock movie I saw? Rope. The actress in that movie, like the only major role for an actress in that movie, I forget the actress's name, but she actually had such a charisma about her. I was like, who is this person? I looked her up. She'd only done a small handful of movies. Most of her work was done in theater. But I was like, God, this lady has such a presence, and she never like blew up or anything.
Was it Joan Chandler?
Maybe. She's younger. In the movie, she was like the only, yeah. What was the name of her character?
Janet Walker.
Sounds right, yeah.
All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, she's only ever in 3 movies.
Yeah.
And then a handful of
she
TV
really
shows.
stood out. She really stood out in Rope.
Let's see. Sean Jones, what WrestleMania matches before the 2-night era would have main evented if they had 2 nights? That sounds like I don't know how well it'd do, but it'd be a fun count out.
It's a very specific topic. Sometimes people really like that really specific shit. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. I mean, you think Brock versus Undertaker would have main event a night 1 of 30?
Either that or they do Daniel Bryan and Triple H main event night 1. Instead of like almost, I think they opened. the show.
That's a good point, actually. That's a really good point. Speaking of 2-night events, DJ Fluffy says, could AEW benefit from having their own 2-night pay-per-view, or is
They
their
would
roster...
just do two nights with 8 matches each.
I mean, yeah. They kind of like do that with All In and All Out. They're
just
2 weeks apart? A week apart.
Like, I understand it from what Tony Khan's perspective is. You know, he wants to give his customers best value.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to plunk down $50 for the pay-per-view. I'm going to give them a shit ton of wrestling, and I appreciate that. I do. Some of the just sometimes they're long shows sometimes.
Yeah.
They're long shows sometimes.
Yeah. Jacob Zimmerman asking us to prognosticate, Larson. He says, in 10 years, so in 2035, do you think AEW will be at the level it is now, or will it become an indie promotion?
2035? I mean, it's all predicated on how happy their television partner, in this case Warner Brothers Discovery, is with the ratings. That's it.
Yep.
If they lose a TV deal, it's going to make things a heck of a lot harder on them to sustain themselves. I know Tony Khan has access to a ton of money.
I think he has said, though, that if the entirety of AEW is predicated on his relationship with Turner, and I agree with you. I think that if he loses TV, he's gonna if there's no road to profitability, then, you know, if he gets another TV deal on a station or family of stations that are like way below Turner, but he still gets the money to make it profitable, then he'll keep it going.
Keep going. If somehow like Access pays Warner Brothers Discovery money to have it on Access.
Yeah, right.
If the company's staying afloat, he'll keep doing it.
I think he will. But that's, you know, I don't think that could be predicted. It's wrestling. If you take a look at WCW in 1993, there's no way you could have predicted where they would be in late 96.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, they were doing shows at high school gyms with like 30 people there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were, literally.
Yeah.
So it's wrestling. You change its fortunes with good creative. And right now it might seem like Tony Khan is stuck in a certain, situation, but that changes so quickly.
Yep.
And I hope it does.
Yep. I hope so too.
Let's see here.
Creamy Beef Tips here says, do you think NXT debuted Stephanie, Julia, and Zarya too close together? Creamy Beef Tips says, honestly, I'd forgotten about Zarya until she tagged with Sol Ruca last night. Or this week. Sorry. I think in a situation where they had Zarya and something as high profile as what Julia and Stephanie are doing, I don't think this question would be asked. I think it's less the thing about them debuting too close together and then Zarya for some reason just tagging with Sol Ruca, whereas Julia champion, Stephanie soon to be champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think in the end it'll all work out.
Yeah.
I think that, man, you look at that division, it is stacked right now.
Oh yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you think, Steve has a question for you, Larson.
Yes, Steve.
Because I thought about this when I saw Charlotte in NXT, and I don't think I would go this route. Should WWE consider putting Charlotte in NXT for a certain period of time, 3 months, to lend, well, the division doesn't need credibility, but so that Charlotte can mix it up with that division, not a lull Charlotte win situation.
Yeah.
But, and I don't even know what necessarily, but the reaction she got was so nice.
I mean,
so good.
You look at that spell when Becky was NXT Women's Champion.
Mm-hmm.
When she was on NXT on a regular basis, and the ratings were up, and she did some good stuff there. If it's a situation where they have Charlotte come and with the idea or the expectation that more viewers would watch NXT because Charlotte is there, and you have her mix it up with Stephanie or Zarya or Jordynne Grace if Jordynne Grace is heading to NXT. And just have some interesting programs with the talent, the women's division NXT. I think that could be interesting.
Yeah.
And it's something different for Charlotte too. You know, if and I don't share this sentiment, but I've seen this sentiment where people, even though Charlotte has not been on TV in like more than a year, they have Charlotte fatigue in terms of her prominently being featured on main roster TV. And I'm not saying that WWE should do something reactionary to have her go to NXT to counter that, but if she wants to do something different, and WWE sees something that might be advantageous for them, if she does something a little different, maybe.
If the main focus of NXT, rightfully so, is going to be on the women's division, why wouldn't you have like the winningest woman, you know, in terms of titles, to be there as part of the spotlight? I think that you could do some interesting stuff if handled correctly. And you'd have, I mean, it'd be like a lineup of just, you know, awesome match after awesome match after awesome match.
Yep.
Let's see here. Javier says, should the WWE title be treated like the One Ring from Lord of the Rings and slowly corrupt Cody? Seems like it's already exhausting him.
That's kind of what's happening to a degree. I'm about corrupting him, but yeah, it's wearing him down.
It's weird, but also, you know, him coming back and gloating at Kevin Owens, not exactly a normal babyface thing to do.
It's not. Here in Twitch chat, Angel Uriel says, I believe it'll be a fatal 5-way for the WWE Championship. All 4 have a history with Cody along with themselves. This will be the right choice because Roman will get his rematch against Cody. Seth will find a way to try to screw Punk. Cena will try to get number 17, and Cody will finally get his due respect for being a great champion, for being 4 of the all-time greats.
Just a loaded main event.
Cody, Roman, Seth, Punk, and John Cena.
Be a loaded ass main event.
That's gonna have to be a convoluted finish to Elimination Chamber.
It's Cody stacks.
Got like a 4-way pin situation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. Anyways, that's all the questions I have over here.
Same.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Tomorrow, of course, we have our episode of Count Out for the week going up first thing in the morning. And then, of course, tomorrow evening, we've got our SmackDown live review after the show. So be sure to tune in for that right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. And then, of course, wherever audio podcasts can be found. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.